pull no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. Hey, let's get it, bro. EOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say this a lot of goofies for the check. I hope I'm sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar, too far. Okay, let's get it up. It's time for him to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up, but they not be legit. No 40 water. Tell him, yeah, get up with me. Fuck sneak this. First person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap. This really melt if I had to. Got 2 teams with me. I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos. This pop lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre CK. Think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, I'm really like that. Hey, your best work is a light pack. Nigga, Prince outlive like Jack. Nigga, boy, your dog's getting buried. That's a K with all these 9s. He gon' see Pet Cemetery. Nigga,
dope, dealer selling dope. Is you like that? Kicking it, nose. Is you like that? Niggas selling laws. Is you like that? All 24, you on go. Is you like that? Niggas from the bottom really like. If you like that, stepping up a list. If
of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Come on, guys. For all information, let's go. Hey, Miss Miles, and welcome to the Situation Room. Be sure to hit the like button as you come in.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another episode of CrimeTube. In today's episode, we will be doing commentary on a Black Girl Gone podcast series called Murder in Her Own Salon, Who Killed Destiny. I remember this particular episode, but not all the details. So instead of, doing an intro, we're just going to jump right into the commentary. If you guys are coming in and have not had the opportunity to hit that like button, I will go ahead and play the channel break to give you the opportunity to do so.
I touch that 5 for you. I do that 3, but I touch that 5 for you. I do that 3, but
Okay, so let's get on into the episode, guys. As I said, it's called Black Girl Gone, a true crime podcast. That is the source for the story. And the victim's name was Destiny Harrison, 21 years old. So let's start the video.
A 21-year-old mother and entrepreneur who was shot to death in Baltimore, Maryland on December 21st, 2019. Destiny was a rising star, a licensed cosmetologist, business owner, and a proud new mom. But just days after she reported that she feared for her life after 2 people broke into her salon, robbing and assaulting her, Destiny was murdered inside her own salon. Her murder not only left her family shattered, but also sent shockwaves through her community. More than 5 years later, her case remains unsolved, and her loved ones are still searching for answers. Who killed Destiny, and why?
I am Summer Body Ready. Thanks to Summer Bella.
This is Destiny's story. When you grow up in a city like Baltimore, you learn early on what it means to survive. Much like Philadelphia, where I'm from, it's a city full of beauty and brilliance, but also struggle. There's a rawness to it, a toughness that's born out of necessity. Both cities are layered with culture, history, and pride, but they're also places where dreams can be hard to chase, especially for young Black women. And yet, time and time again, women like Destiny Harrison rise.
It's crazy that the most endangered group of beings is the Black woman. I mean, with all that we overcome as Black women, we still have so much to overcome, and it's really kind of sad.
They find a way not only to survive, but to create, to build something for themselves and their families in the face of every obstacle. This story is about one of those women, a young mother and an entrepreneur, a daughter who was trying to make her way in a city she loved. And what happened to her was something that should have never happened. Destiny Harrison was born on April 16th, 1998, in Baltimore, Maryland, at Sinai Hospital. From the moment she entered the world, Destiny's name seemed to carry purpose. She was raised in a city known for its grit and resilience, and she embodied both. Destiny grew up attending Baltimore City Public School System, where she showed early signs of drive and determination. She eventually attended Mergenthaler Vocational Technical High School, known locally as Mervo, and it was there that she found her calling. By the time she graduated, Destiny had already earned her cosmetology license, setting her on a path that many dream about but few pursue with clarity. And she didn't walk the path alone. With her mother Raquel by her side, Destiny began moving in elite hair and beauty circles at a young age. She worked with celebrities like Cliff Vermeer, styled the Claremont twins when they came to the DMV, and even connected with reality TV personality and stylist Shekinah. But Destiny knew talent wasn't enough. She needed knowledge. So she learned the business from the ground up, working under seasoned stylists, attending master classes, and absorbing everything that she could. One of her mentors, Rashia Burrell, remembered Destiny as the youngest girl in the room, always watching, always asking questions, soaking up wisdom like a sponge. Destiny was serious about her craft, but she was also serious about her future. She enrolled at Bowie State University, where she studied business and minored in fashion design. For 2 years, she balanced school with her hustle, but ultimately, Destiny made a bold decision. She left school behind and leaned all the way into her passion. Her first salon was called The Hair Trap. After that, she opened 3 more salons before eventually opening Madame D Beauty Bar in East Baltimore on the corner of Milton Avenue and Orleans Street. It was more than just a shop. It was part of a dream realized. And around that same time, Destiny discovered that she was expecting her first child with her boyfriend, Dante. In 2018, they welcomed a baby girl named Dream. And for Destiny, that's exactly what she represented. Her baby, her legacy, her motivation to keep pushing forward. At a young age, Destiny was running a business, raising her daughter, and making big plans for the future. She was also looking forward to becoming a big sister again. Her mother...
I was going to say, when it comes to hairstylists, a lot of them end up being high earners because one thing that, especially if you're in the urban market, people love to get their hair done. Let's just be real.
Mother was expecting a baby of her own that was due in July 2020. Life was busy, life was full, and life was just beginning. But a year later, that life would be taken violently and senselessly, and the ripple effect of her death leave a community heartbroken and a family changed forever. In the days before her life was taken, Destiny found herself caught in a storm of escalating threats and violence that revealed not only the very real dangers that she was up against, but also the vulnerability that so many young women entrepreneurs experience when building something of their own. On December 9th, 2019, just 11 days before she was killed, Destiny walked into a nightmare. She discovered two individuals, later identified as neighbors, inside her salon, stealing from her. It wasn't just a random break-in. These were people that she recognized, people from the community. When Destiny confronted them, demanding they return what they were taking, the situation escalated. One of the individuals reportedly restrained her while the other physically assaulted her. They took off with nearly $3,000 worth of hair extensions, which is high-end inventory that Destiny had invested in to serve her clients and grow her business. But Destiny didn't stay silent. She filed charges against both suspects. In her written testimony, she laid bare the fear that was now hanging over her. Fear that went beyond the loss of merchandise or damage to her salon. She said plainly, quote, "I'm scared for my life and my business." This wasn't just a figure of speech. It was a cry for help. She had been violated in her salon, the very space that she had built with so much care and intention. And instead of backing down, Destiny took the legal route. She stood up for herself, even when it put her at further risk.
What would you say to somebody that hasn't tried therapy before?
Just ask yourself if what you're doing in your life right now is...
The sad part about that is what can you do? You know the people who victimize you. You know the people, you know they're from the neighborhood. I mean, like the podcaster said, she put herself at more risk by being honest and wanting to protect her property that she worked so hard for.
The people responsible for the assault and robbery were arrested and charged. And on December 19th, Destiny was granted a peace order, which is essentially a restraining order against one of the individuals involved in the assault. But what Destiny didn't know, what no one knew, was that just 48 hours after that, she would be gone. Now, after the assault, Destiny was afraid, but according to her family, Baltimore PD did very little to help her. Despite filing the charges and making it clear in court documents that she feared for her life and her business, Destiny didn't really receive any meaningful protection. There was no increased patrols near her salon, there was no safety plan put in place, and really no effort, at least that her family saw, to ensure that the threats that she felt were being taken seriously. She had done everything that she was supposed to do, and still, she was left to face the potential danger alone. Destiny tried to carry on with her life after the robbery and assault, but those who knew her say that she was shaken. She had poured so much into her business, long days, sleepless nights, and every dollar she could spare, only to be violated in that space that was supposed to represent her success. And while she showed up for her clients and continued to do what she loved, that fear lingered beneath the surface.
I could only imagine, because it's not like she worked with a group of people. She literally was in her business herself. If she didn't have customers, it was just her. I mean, what was she supposed to do? Take all of her earnings and get a bodyguard? It's kind of sad.
A daughter to think about now, and she knew how quickly things could escalate. Her mother, Raquel, says that Destiny was doing everything that she could to stay safe. She stayed close to family, she kept her circle tight, and she never let her guard down. But without any real protection from law enforcement, there was only so much that she could do. The people who assaulted her lived nearby. They knew where she worked. They knew when she'd be alone. And even with a peace order in place, there was nothing stopping them from eventually coming back. And yet, Destiny kept going, because that's what women like her so often do. even when they're afraid, even when the systems meant to protect them fall short. She kept doing hair, kept building her brand, kept showing up for her baby. But the truth is, Destiny shouldn't have had to choose between chasing her dreams and staying alive. Then, one evening, everything changed. What happened next will leave her family devastated, her community shaken, and raise questions that still don't have answers. On December 9th, 2019, two people broke into Destiny Harrison's salon. They assaulted her and stole thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. Destiny was terrified. She reported the attack, pressed charges, and even secured a protective order. She was prepared to fight for her business and her safety. But before she could ever have her day in court, Destiny's worst fear would come true. In the weeks before Destiny was killed, she had been dealing with the outcome of a brutal attack and robbery. At 21, the young mother and entrepreneur had beat many of the odds, building a business and creating a future for her daughter, but she couldn't escape the violence that surrounded her salon. Her shop sat on a busy street in Baltimore, a place she had chosen not just for its foot traffic, but because it was home. But that familiarity didn't make it safe. Destiny wasn't just doing hair. She was running a business in a neighborhood where crime was a constant and tensions could quickly rise. And after the attack, she knew those tensions were closer than ever. But despite everything, Destiny pushed forward. She was still showing up for her clients, still being a mother, still trying to protect everything that she had built. But the truth was, she was scared. She had said it out loud. She'd put it in writing. And even with that, even after doing what so many victims are told to do, no one could step in to protect her. The assault just 2 weeks earlier had shaken her to her core, when she had done everything that she could. But
where was her boyfriend? Why didn't they maybe get someone in the afternoon to come by, sit with her before, once it started to get dark until she closed or something like that? If she had to be there early in the morning when, when it wasn't that light outside, maybe she should have tried to see if she could get someone. I mean, I don't know. Tell me in the comments, guys, what do you think she could have done to maybe make it a little more safe, if anything?
she felt a constant unease, a looming threat that she couldn't escape. On December 21st, 2019, the lives of everyone who knew and loved Destiny would change forever. That evening, Destiny was at her salon, Madame D Beauty Bar, just as she had done so many times before. The holiday rush was in full swing. It was just 4 days before Christmas, and clients were coming and going for their last-minute appointments. But as the evening wore on, things started to feel different. At around 6 p.m., with clients in the salon and her daughter, Dream, nearby, a man entered the salon. Without warning, he pulled out a gun and began shooting at Destiny, and she was shot in the head. Chaos erupted in the small space. Witnesses later recalled hearing the shots, the devastating sound that would echo in their memories forever. People screamed, running from the salon. And Destiny, the young woman who had dreamed so big and worked so hard, collapsed to the floor. The shooter didn't stick around. He fled the scene, leaving nothing but confusion in his wake. Destiny was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries were too severe.
On Adapted Mind Reading, stories are designed to build vocabulary and comprehension.
At just 21 years old, she was pronounced dead. It wasn't supposed to end like that. Destiny had so much more to give and so much more to live for. But now, just days before Christmas, her life was stolen, and the questions began to mount. Who would do something like this?
Yeah, what
Why
is this
her?
about? Like, why
Was this
her?
connected to the earlier assault? And perhaps, the most chilling of all, could this have been stopped from happening? In the immediate aftermath of Destiny's murder, the Baltimore community was left in shock and disbelief. The violence that took her life seemed so senseless, and the questions about who was behind it and why only deepened with each passing day. Baltimore police began their investigation, but despite several witnesses and the fact that Destiny had been attacked just days earlier, the case would not be solved quickly. The night of the murder, Destiny's salon had been crowded with clients, and there were at least a few who saw the suspect. Still, the police had little to go on. The suspect's face was obscured and no clear motive emerged. It didn't take long for Destiny's family to realize that this wasn't just a random act of violence. Destiny had been outspoken about the threats that she had received in the weeks leading up to her death, and many suspected that the motive for the shooting might be tied to the assault and robbery that had taken place earlier in the month. But despite the strong possibility that this was an attack born out of retaliation or a personal vendetta, the police hit dead ends. No arrests were made. As the investigation stalled, the pain and frustration felt by Destiny's family grew. Her mother, Raquel, publicly called for justice, urging anyone who knew something to come forward. The Baltimore police, feeling the pressure from the public and the outcry for justice, offered a $4,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. But even with this financial incentive, tips remained scarce. Meanwhile, Raquel, who had taken in Destiny's young daughter, Dream, faced the unbearable task of taking care of her granddaughter while mourning the loss of her own daughter. As Raquel said in interviews, nothing would bring Destiny back, but she refused to let her daughter's death be in vain. As the investigation into Destiny's death dragged on, the frustrations began to mount, both within the family and the community. The investigation appeared to stall in a maze of dead ends, leaving her family feeling like they were fighting an uphill battle for justice.
Somebody walked into her salon with people there, like they did not care, and directly victimized just her. No one else was harmed. No one else was. I mean, it almost seems like it's bigger than just a random act, especially since it's days after what happened before.
One of the biggest challenges in solving Destiny's case was the lack of clear suspects. While there were witnesses who saw the shooter fleeing the scene, the suspect's identity remained a mystery. The police questioned several individuals, but no solid leads materialized. There was speculation within the community that Destiny's murder could have been the result of this ongoing feud tied to the earlier assault and robbery, but without hard evidence, the investigation couldn't move forward. Adding to the complexity was the fact that Destiny's salon was known to many in the community. She had worked with prominent figures in the beauty industry, and her name was known. But with that notoriety came the possibility that jealousy was the motive. Some questioned whether Destiny had unknowingly become a target in something much larger than herself. Was her murder just a random act of violence, or was there more to the story that no one had yet uncovered? But despite the mounting pressure from Destiny's family and the public, the case continued to drag. As months went by with no arrests, people began to wonder, had the investigation lost momentum? Were they waiting for someone to step forward, or was the truth about what happened to Destiny being buried by layers of silence? Her mother, Raquel, continued to speak out, determined to keep Destiny's name alive and demand accountability. She appeared at rallies, speaking directly to the media, urging anyone with information to come forward. In the years that followed her daughter's death, Raquel has been unwavering in her pursuit of justice. She continues to keep Destiny's memory alive for her granddaughter Dream, who was just 1 year old at the time of her mother's murder. Raquel makes sure that Dream remembers her mother by sharing stories and photographs, but with each passing year, the weight of grief only grows heavier. For Raquel, the hardest part is not knowing whether the person responsible for her daughter's death is still walking free, and why it seems so hard to get answers. To honor Destiny's legacy, the Destiny Harrison Dream Scholarship Fund was established. The scholarship is awarded annually to 10 girls enrolled in cosmetology school as a tribute to Destiny's dedication to her craft and her desire to uplift others in the industry. The unanswered questions about Destiny's murder still linger in the air. As time continues on, the search for justice feels more distant.
Is this a good sentence?
No.
Correct. We're going to make it good. Now, give.
And yet, Destiny's community, her family, and even strangers who had been touched by her story hold on to the hope that the truth will one day come to light. More than 5 years have passed since Destiny was taken from her family, her daughter, and the community that she worked so hard to uplift, and yet her case remains unsolved. No arrests, no named suspects, no justice. Her family continues to grieve, left to piece together their own answers in the absence of official ones. The Baltimore Police Department continues to seek information from the public to solve Destiny's murder. The reward for information leading to an arrest has been increased to $8,000, and authorities urge anyone with relevant information to contact Crime Stoppers. Destiny's story is heartbreaking, not just because of how violently her life was taken, but because of how preventable it may have been. She followed the rules, she asked for help, she did everything she could to protect herself and her child, but in the end, she wasn't protected. And sadly, Destiny's story isn't unique. Across the country, young women who speak up about threats of violence are often ignored, their fears dismissed until it's too late. The silence that follows can feel just as violent as the crime itself. Destiny deserved to live. She deserved to watch her daughter grow up. She deserved to see her business flourish and her dreams come true. And while her life was cut short, her legacy lives on. In every young woman that she inspired, every client that she made feel beautiful, and every voice that refuses to let her name be forgotten. Destiny Harrison was shot and killed on December 21st, 2019, inside her salon, Madame D Beauty Bar, on North Milton Avenue in East Baltimore. She was 21 years old. Her case remains unsolved. Anyone with information, please contact the Metro Crime Stoppers. May Destiny Harrison rest in peace. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok.
So I have another I just, looked for anything additional. So we're going to play this short video from WMAR2 News. Just talking about the information as well. It's probably going to be more of the same information, but nonetheless, I just want to see if there's any additional that may be available for the story. Here we go.
In 4.5 years since 21-year-old Destiny Harrison was killed inside of her own hair salon, no one has been arrested for the crime. And as detective actively investigate Destiny's mother has a plea for the community, WMAR2 News' Jonathan Hunter spoke to Destiny's mom and has her story.
Destiny Harrison was a mom, a business owner, and someone who had her whole life ahead of her. In December of...
This is totally random, but these some weird looking news commentators. I'm sorry, go ahead.
2019, someone walked into her hair salon and shot her to death. as detectives actively investigate. Destiny's mom says if someone knows anything, to please come forward.
She was bright, she was innovative, she was skilled, smart, beautiful. She was a fashionista.
Raquel Harrison Jones is talking about her daughter, Destiny. She says Destiny was a perfect child growing up.
So loving, so kind, always wanting to help others, always wanting to help the community.
But on December 21st, 2019, everything changed. Baltimore police were dispatched to Madam D Beauty Bar on North Milton Avenue. Inside, they found Destiny suffering from a gunshot wound. She was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police believe the suspect or suspects entered the salon and shot Destiny.
It was so many people in the salon that day. Nobody has came forth and said anything.
Prior to Destiny's murder, she feared for her life. She filed charges against a couple who she says beat and stole from her 12 days before her murder. Detectives are investigating the case, but to date, no one has been arrested in connection to her death.
They're actively working. They have some leads, and it's just a waiting game.
Raquel keeps her daughter's memory alive. At the time of Destiny's death, her daughter Dream was just 1 year old. She is now 5 and about to start kindergarten.
I just make sure I keep telling her about Destiny, keep showing her all Destiny's photo shoots, because her creativity was out the roof.
Plus, her legacy is continuing to be honored by the Destiny Harrison Dream Scholarship Fund. The scholarship is awarded to 10 girls every year who are in cosmetology school. For Raquel, she wants her daughter's legacy to live on, but she also wants her daughter's killer to be caught.
I am hoping someone cares enough about her daughter, cares enough about all women, all mothers, all children to step forth and say something.
And if you have any information, you can reach out to Metro Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-866-7-LOCK-UP. And the reward for information leading to an arrest is now $8,000. In Baltimore, I'm Jonathan Hunter for WMAR 2 News.
Let's just say my boobs were closer to my pants than my...
So, guys, that is the story of Destiny. Hopefully you enjoyed this presentation, not the story itself. You know, no one wants to see anything like this. So you know, I'm just thinking in my head, like, where's her boyfriend? Was he questioned? Was there ever any possible motive outside of retaliation for what happened before? And the thing is, it doesn't seem like there was much done by the police from the first assault and break-in, especially, you know, being that they said one of the people, there was a peace order put in place, but peace order, they stole from that girl over $3,000 worth of stuff. Like, but then I asked the question, is that worth taking her life? Like, I don't know. Anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think in the comments about this story. Tell me if you think that it could be retaliation or maybe even something else. Nobody else mentioned baby dad. It seems that there was never any effort to protect her outside of the legal system. Like, you know, if she's got people coming to her business and causing a problem, it seems like, you know, the guy she's dating would care about that, like, and want to try to do something. But whatever the case is, tell me what you all think. We'll continue the conversation in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next episode.
These niggas talking out of their neck, pull no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. Hey, let's get it, bro. EOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better.
Of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit